I've tried a lot of things to help make my vocals pop within a mix, but unfortunately, a lot of the things that I tried just didn't really seem to help that much. However, there are 4 things that I have routinely used to consistently help make my vocals sit well within a mix. One of the major pitfalls of trying to mix vocals is they can just get lost within the mix if there's a lot of instruments. And if you just turn up the gain for the vocals, it can sound like your vocals are sitting on top of the mix rather than in the mix. And so in this video, I'm going to be showing you 4 techniques to really help your vocals sit well within the mix. So let's hop to my computer and I'll show you what I do. All right, so first let's listen to a sample of the song that we're going to be using to show you these vocal tricks. So here's what that sounds like. Yeah, so the first trick that I use is I layer the vocals. So if you just use one vocal take, it's not going to be strong enough to stick out from a heavy mix like this. So here is, you can see here I have 5 vocal layers here, and then a couple doing like the ad-lib layer that you heard thrown in there. So the main layer sounds like this. I don't wanna be just a number. All right, then these next 2 layers are the same. I sing the exact same thing. I don't just copy and paste because then you can get phase issues. So I re-sing the same vocals again, and then I pan it hard to the left, and then I do again, I sing the whole thing a 3rd time, and then I pan it to the right. So if I solo these, you can hear that. Don't wanna be just a number, and then if I add in the main vocal, it sounds like this. Just another of your mistakes. And the reason they sound so aligned really well is because I used VocaLine, so that's another trick as well. Little bonus tip, use VocaLine, and is probably one of the biggest time-saving resources you can do to getting your vocals aligned and sounding good. The next couple tracks that I have are the same vocals, just an octave lower, so I just sing them an octave lower. Again, one is panned not all the way to the left, it's panned about 50% left, and the other is 50% right. So I'm just sort of carving out a space in the stereo spectrum for them to sit in. So those sound like this. Don't wanna be just a number, be just another. And then if you have all of them soloed, it sounds like this. Of your mistakes. No, tell me why you've gone and slipped away. And then just to do a quick test here, I'm gonna play the chorus with just the main chorus, and then I'm gonna add in the backing tracks as well, so you can hear the difference. So here's just the main vocal with the instrumentals. So hopefully you can tell a difference there. It just adds a lot more fullness to it, and so that's the first thing that I use. The second thing that I use is a real sniper trick. I like using this. This is something I learned relatively recently. I can't remember where, but it's to use dynamic EQ. So what I do is, this is actually one of the best ways to get, I think, to get your vocals sitting well in the mix, so that it doesn't feel like it's sitting on top of the mix, but it feels like it's part of the track. And so the way that I do that is I have all my vocals going to a bus called the vocal bus. And so that is, where is that? That is right here. So I have the vocals bus here, and then all of the instrumentals I have going to an instrumental bus that is here. And so what I do is I open up, for each track, I open up Neutron. You can do this in a couple different VSTs, but I just happen to have Neutron, and I know you can do it here. And so what I did was I created these EQ curves, but I made them dynamic and sidechained them to the vocals. So what that means is that as I play this track, if the instrumental section has frequencies occurring around 3K or whatever this is, about 7K, then if the vocals also share that same frequency spectrum, it's going to attenuate the frequencies of the instrumental bus. That probably didn't make a ton of sense, but you'll see what's happening. Just watch these dip down as the vocals are playing, and then you'll notice when the vocals aren't going on, the frequency curves aren't dipping down. So you can see, especially like right there at the end, it's really only when the vocals are going on that this frequency curve is dipping down. And so what it's doing is it's ducking these frequencies away from the instrumental so that it's providing a pocket for the vocals to shine through. And I think that that is a really, really effective way to just carve out a frequency spectrum. I mean, you're kind of just forcing a frequency spectrum for the vocals so that they sit better in the mix. The next thing that I use to make the vocals shine, I use this primarily for the main vocals, is I want to add some high-end sparkle, like a high shelf EQ to the vocals, and that'll allow it to sit from the mix. So if I go to the main vocal here, you can accomplish this. Fresh Air is probably like the main example. It's by Slate. It's probably like the biggest example. That would be I don't have it on this track because I use something else, but this is a great free plugin that you can use to add some like high-end sparkle to your tracks. But what I used is CLA Vocals. If you use one of their, I just use the Start Me Up preset, and you can turn up the treble, and what that does is that gives that top end sparkle here. So if I, just to show you kind of what this sounds like, I'm gonna solo one of the vocals here. Don't wanna be just a number, be just another of your mistakes. So you can hear that as I was turning the knob up, it just got more bright and more sparkly, and that's what allows it to kind of cut through the mix. And I think I do that on all the vocals. I just don't have that treble setting up quite as high for the backing vocals because I don't want them to be as piercing as the main vocal. So that's another way. And then the last thing that I do is I put some pretty heavy compression on most of the vocals. So for this, let's see, I have a compressor on the main vocal here. This is a, what do you call these? Not a 2A. It's the other, I can't think of the name of it. It's the other faster compressor that you can use. Damn it, I can't think of it. In any case, this is applying quite a bit of compression, so you can see that here. Don't wanna be just a number, be just a number. So kind of like it's reducing 5 to 8 decibels there, and then that is being paired with the CLA vocals, because CLA vocals is a compressor and the compression setting is up pretty high. I don't really know how much it's cutting in terms of dB, so I don't know how much it's compressing, but it's definitely adding quite a lot of compression. And so that was something, when I first started mixing vocals, I was kind of tame when it came to adding compression to the vocals because I'm always like nervous to turn settings up too high. But especially for songs where there's a lot of production, I find that just adding a lot of compression, not all in one compressor though. So there's probably, if I had to guess, 12 dB of gain reduction or compression happening. And then obviously I have to do some makeup gain so that it becomes louder. But if I did that whole 12 decibel reduction and compression, then on one compressor, then that would just sound kind of artificial. So if you have, instead of doing 12 decibels of reduction in one compressor, if you did it in serial, so you have two compressors doing less reduction overall, it gives you a better effect, and hopefully that makes sense. So basically, instead of using one compressor to do a shit ton of reduction, do two compressors that are doing less compression but equal in total to the same amount of compression. So and that is sort of the final trick that I use. So starting off with just layering the vocals, then doing the dynamic EQ, which I think is really the secret weapon to getting them to sit within the mix, adding some top-end sparkle using Fresh Air or CLA, the CLA vocals plugin that I was using, and then finally, number 4, just adding heavy compression. And I even do a higher compression setting to the backing vocals because I don't really want any dynamics going on. It just kind of helps to make the sound kind of punch through the mix. And so those are the tricks that I use to make my vocals kind of pop through a mix. So hopefully this helps you out when it comes to mixing vocals. I know for me, it can be overwhelming when you see so many different videos talking about vocal mixing and vocal production techniques. But honestly, if you take nothing else from this video, it's to just experiment on your own, because I found that I learned the most when I just experimented and started turning knobs and see what works. So take some of this advice that I gave in this video and try it out, but it doesn't mean you have to use every single trick that I use in this video. I encourage you to just try things on your own. Try an effect. Try a different compression setting. Just sort of explore on your own, because I find that I make some of the biggest breakthroughs with learning new techniques and strategies when I just sort of take the reins on my own and just try things out. So I encourage you to try that out. And if you're curious about a song that I did recently that uses a lot of these vocal tricks that I talked about in this video, then check out this video here. It's a song that I recently did that I really like, and I hope you like it too. And if you found this video to be helpful, then it would mean a lot if you hit the subscribe button. It helps me out more than you know, and just lets me know if these videos are resonating with you. So until next time, I will see you in the next video. Take care.